And welcome back to the program. Good morning, Kenya. If you're just joining us after dressing for the red carpet, you are now to dress up for Kecoso Games. That is Kenya Communications Sports Organization games that will be happening in Kisumu beginning this weekend. And that's the discussion we want to have. What's all about Kecoso Games, what you need to know, and how you can benefit. And in studio with me is two gentlemen, by the way, a colleague in the profession and here at KBC. And I can assure you he'll be confirming that KBC will be well represented. All those teams participating in that event, watch out for KBC. Omole Asiko, who is the General Secretary, Kecoso Games. Karibu sana to the program.
Thank you.
And happy to have you here. And we also have the chairman of Kecoso, that is Kenya Communications Sports Organization, the national chairman here with us, Cyril Wayongo. I need to get that name correctly. Karibu sana to the program.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you.
And it's always a pleasure to have you back. I think we did this last year, and now we are doing this 2017. Let me just begin by getting a confirmation from Omole Asiko, that KBC is well prepared for this event.
KBC is very, very well prepared for the Kecoso Games. And I dare tell you that one event has already even taken place. We had golf last weekend where KBC was very well represented, and KBC finished number 2 overall. So you can guess that big things to come as we go towards Kecoso this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So can you confirm that this time round, the last time we were number 2, this time we can be number 1, perhaps?
I believe our teams, not team, I'm not saying team, I'm saying teams. Our teams have burned the midnight oil, yes, and they'll be back in a bigger way and more prepared than they were last year when we were in Nakuru. Yes.
So, Wayongo, this competition happened in Kisumu, in Nakuru last year.
Yes.
How different is it now that it's being held in Kisumu this year?
This year, everything is different from last year. Every year, whenever we go any venue, we go different from the previous year. We have new players coming on board, and also new sponsors coming on board. Especially, for example, we had last weekend golf tournament at the Nyanza Golf Club. In fact, the management of Nyanza Golf Club told us that in the last 101 years of existence, they have never had that kind of sponsorship. That tells you the kind of difference that we are moving. And in light of the new era of devolution, actually we are moving the games to a higher level. Yes.
And how deep should the pockets of Kisumu residents be before they watch Kecoso Games?
Kecoso Games are free.
Yes.
All the venues will be free. So we are welcoming everybody to come on board. We'll have games at different venues. We'll mention to you. Some will be at Moi Stadium. Others will be at the Jomo Kenyatta Sports Ground. We'll have, for example, swimming at Aga Khan. They're all free. So all the members of the public should be assured that they are not going to pay a single penny to attend. So they should come in large numbers.
So they just need to walk to the venue.
Exactly. And enjoy themselves. Thank you.
Omole, what are some of the disciplines we are talking about that the people of Kisumu and the country at large should be looking forward to in these particular games?
I'd like to mention that Kecoso has overall 12 disciplines. Golf having been played already. As the chairman has mentioned, at Moi Stadium, Kisumu, we shall be having two very, very interesting events. That is the game of football and the game of athletics. And let me just say something about football. When you talk about Kecoso football, you talk about top-class football in Kenya, because some of the teams that participate in Kecoso football are the teams you watch in the Premier League. You watch Bandari in the Premier League. Bandari is a member of Kecoso. You watch Posta Rangers, as currently sitting very high in the Kenya Premier League table. That's a team of Kecoso. We have a team from Kenya Airport Authority, a very, very serious team. We have Talanta. This is a team that is sponsored by Communication Authority of Kenya. Does very well in the National Super League. So all the teams that are participating in Kecoso are teams which have been tested and tried, and they're teams which you watch on TV every day when you watch Kenyan football. At the Kenyatta Sports Ground, as the chairman mentioned, we shall have all the ball games. We shall have netball, we shall have basketball, we shall have volleyball. Top class events, I must say. And then when it comes to the indoor games, we shall have the game of table tennis taking place at the sports ground. As the chairman mentioned, we shall have all the ball games. We shall have netball, we shall have basketball, we shall have volleyball. Top class events, I must say. And then when it comes to the indoor games, We shall have the game of table tennis taking place at the Kisumu Social Hall. We shall have the game of pool, which will be taking place at the old airport terminal, that's in Kisumu Airport. We shall have the game of Scrabble taking place at the Royal City Hotel. Snooker, because we also play snooker. Snooker will be taking place at the Nyanza Club. So all these events are events which we're encouraging Kisumu residents walk in free of charge, come and enjoy the game you love most at totally no cost. And we're promising you that there'll be a lot of action the next 1 week, beginning from 16th up to 23rd of September. Yeah.
One of the key things or key aims of Kecoso Games, I want to believe, is to nurture talent in terms of sports.
Yeah.
And I want to believe Kecoso Games has been in existence for some time now. Do you have specific players, for example, that you can point out and say, listen, as this is a product of Kecoso. You look at, for example, in FC Leopards, you look in Gor Mahia, if you're talking about football, if you're talking about volleyball, and you start singling out that, listen, it's not just about participating in Kecoso. We have visible products that we can, cite that these are our products.
If Haslem mentioned that Kecoso started way back in the 70s.
Yes.
And all the way to the 80s and 90s, most of the teams in this country actually were having the pool of their talents coming all the way from Kecoso. If, for example, you look at football, Peter Dow is a product of Kecoso. He is currently even a member of our governing council, representing the county of Kisumu. You look at, for example, athletics, Tekla Rupe. Those are the people who came through the ranks of Kecoso. I'll ask my colleague to even mention more in the other disciplines as well. So Kecoso has been a forum that has actually been out to identify and nurture talent, and not just in the regional, but up to the international level. Yes.
Actually, look at Kenyan history in terms of sports. When Kenya was doing so well in some events like boxing, because everybody talks about our boxing going down. If you look at the history of Kenyan sports, you'll discover that the history of Kecoso at some point when there was privatization of our parastatals, the participation in Kecoso went down a bit, especially in the 1990s. And that's the time Kecoso lost membership like Kenya Airways, Railways, those big organizations that used to participate in Kecoso. If you look at the history of sports in this country, you'll find that it is directly related. The going down of our sports is directly related to that privatization. Because when Kenya Railways went down, when Kenya Airways was not performing well and they sort of pulled out of Kecoso, we discovered that most of our events started going down. Our boxing, it went down because Kecoso was not as active in boxing as it used to be. Look at games like hockey. Kenya used to be up there. They've gone down because when Kecoso participation went a bit down, it affected the national performance. So just to tell you that a lot of big names in Kenyan sport have come through Kecoso. You mentioned football. I'll give you the names of we mentioned Peter Dow. I want to give you the names of Morila, former AFC Leopards, Onyango Jogo, Harambee Stars, Mwamuda Bass, who does not know the best goalkeeper that Kenya has ever had. He was a goalkeeper for Kenya Airways. With Odie, there used to be somebody called Odie, used to play for Union Harambee Stars, also played for Kenya Airways. So many big names in Kenyan sports, including boxing, athletics, basketball, the Ronyo winners of this one, all have come through Kecoso. So it just tells you that Kecoso has a special place when you talk about sports in Kenya and the history of performance in major events.
So what you're saying is if the likes of David Karanja and Wahome takes this thing seriously, we are likely to see them in Harambee Stars.
Exactly.
And I'm talking about KBC players now.
They need to take it seriously.
Exactly.
Because Kecoso is a stepping stone to big things.
Yes.
It is a very big stepping stone to big things. It has a history in this country. And I must tell you, my chairman here, I hope will be telling you that what the governing council is doing right now is trying to bring Kecoso back to where it used to be. Because a lot of years have gone by. A lot of people remember Kecoso with a lot of nostalgia. We used to watch Kecoso when this was happening. We are working towards bringing that back. And I think I'll just say, watch this space. We are coming.
Watch this space is the assurance from Omole Asiko here. But I'm just trying to imagine that we have a number of teams participating in this competition. We'll be talking about them. But out of those teams, assuming, I'm just creating an hypothesis, that KBC emerges the winner, what are some of the benefits? Is it that you're going to give us 2 million? Is it 3 million? What are the benefits of emerging the best in this competition?
First of all, before I go to the benefits of what you get when you emerge as the winner, whatever position you are, we need to look at the purpose of Kecoso. Kecoso, first of all, is a family of entities, organizations, and ministries that were originally under the Ministry of Transport and Communication. So the very first benefit that an organization gets is to bring us back together as a family in a meeting. It's more or less like an annual family meeting because we hold it annually, year in, year out. Then the second issue is also each of these organizations have a different mandate of what they deliver on. So whenever we go to an area, we are actually selling ourselves to say, what is it we do? For example, I come from Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. Our mandate is the regulation of aviation sector in this country. So whenever we're in Kisumu, one of the issues we want to tell the public is what is it that KCA does? What is it that people need to know about aviation, for example? If you look at KBC, what is the role of KBC in this country? So it's a way of also engaging with the stakeholders. And in addition to that, we just don't go there for purpose of performing games. We also have an engagement with the society. We carry out CSR activities. Within the period of 10 days, we have, for example, peer educators from our different organizations. We take them out to the schools, to colleges, to all the slums and other areas to teach people about HIV/AIDS, for example, about responsible living, about many other issues, about health issues. So we're not just talking about sports. We're coming as a holistic package for the community. But above all, you also look at the benefit of society. You have about 1,000 people coming in from different organizations and about another 2,000 extra coming in and as watching. And these people coming with money. So the local community in terms of investment, in terms of the business, also are going to benefit. Last week we were in Kisumu for the golf tournament. The hotels were fully booked because you have all golfers and people coming to watch, coming to the lakeside city of Kisumu. So if this is taken as a benefit, leave alone the organization, the place you're going, the ripple effect in terms of the community benefit, the financials, the economy of that community is actually going to benefit very heavily. But just coming back to your question about what organizations get, we actually have trophies. We have trophies for the teams themselves and for also the individuals in terms of what they have performed. And above all, as I told you, this is an event that comes out in terms of helping nurture talent. So if the other teams are watching, for example, Gor Mahias of this world and AFC, if you're a good footballer and you're coming from one of these organizations, that is a time to be notified, to be noticed. And once you're noticed, then who knows, you move to the next level. Yes.
And you know, the key role that media plays in such events, and now that you have KBC, are we likely to see this televised live?
Every year.
Or perhaps even on KBC Radio Taifa, you know, some of
I want to tell you that every year what we've done is that whenever you see KBC, you can be sure that the KBC cameras will be rolling.
Yes.
The KBC team that will be traveling to Kisumu, they'll be professionals for coverage, for TV, for radio. And I must say that our KBC vernacular stations have been doing a sterling job when it comes to Kecoso. I recall in the year 2015, when we were in Machakos, we carried with us a commentator from our campus station called Mwatu FM. And people who were outside the stadium who did not know what was going on in the stadium, they could hear a commentary being done in Kikamba or a football match going on, and a lot of people just streamed in. They wanted to find out because it's something which has never happened in Machakos before. You know, we put it on loudspeakers. So you're out there and you're hearing in Kikamba the way a goal is being scored. You can imagine that.
I can picture
so
that,
people
yes.
walked in because they said they wanted to find out, hey, what's happening. So that's what ABC has also been offering when we go to some of these places.
So in this context, then Radio Mayenga comes in.
We have George Batty. George Batty is a commentator, football commentator for Radio Mayenga. I can assure you he's in the team. And so the Mayenga fraternity and the Kisumu fraternity, they're in for a real thing when it comes to commentaries. The football that will be going on, the athletics, will be broadcast in that particular language that the people on the left side would like to listen to. So KBC, I can tell you, brings in some flavor into these games by bringing in their professionals in terms of coverage for TV, coverage for the vernacular sessions, also coverage in Radio Taifa, as you mentioned. Yes.
I just wanted to add that we are also going to engage, or we are engaging the local vernacular stations so that we have a wider outreach to the people within the county of Kisumu and also the neighboring counties. But in addition, we also are alive to the modern trends of technology. We're also using social media so that we can be able to reach out to other people, even worldwide. I'll give you an example that Scrabble, for example, is actually streamed live worldwide whenever the games are on. So the International Association of Scrabble, anybody who is a member can be able to watch the Kenyan players doing that. And it's done at a very professional level. Yes.
You have a hashtag already?
Yeah. Let me mention that. For those who like to follow us on Twitter, we have an hashtag at Kecoso Games. And on Facebook, you can follow us at Kecoso. And if you want to contribute and join the discussion, our hashtag is at Kecoso 2017. Yes.
Well said when it comes to that. Let's look at Kisumu County, and you've been to Nakuru, where you held the Kecoso Games last year. Yes. You have been to Machakos, I want to believe Mombasa, and all those kind of things. And in this country, we are talking about a devolved system of governance. How did you arrive at Kisumu? And how do other counties, for example, if Kilifi wanted to say, listen, I think I need Kecoso to participate. I want to host, if King, that is the governor, said, I want to host Kecoso next year. How does he go about it?
The history of Kecoso, or the tradition we've been having, is that for every 2 years, you have an organization within the 12 sister organizations chairing. For the benefit of this year and next year, we have the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority as the chair. So the organization itself decides within its own top management who then is the national chair. And for this case, I was chosen because I'm the corporation secretary for Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. So the organization actually previously has been deciding, depending on their own internal strategic interests, that this year we want to go to this area because this is a new area we want to open up our presidency to be felt. But going forward, we as a governing council want to have a slightly different approach because of the devolved system of governance. We want to now engage the governors that here are the games. Here is opportunity for you to have your county noticed. Here is an opportunity for you to have investment in your county. Because we'll mention to you later on, it's not just about sports. We also come in with a lot of other investment that go with sports. So we want to engage with the governors, for example. If the governor of Kakamega or Paranya wants us to go to Kakamega next year, if the governor of my county, Bungoma, Mr. Wycliffe Wangamati, wants us to go there next year, or Mr. Kingi from Kilifi, for example, wants us to go next year, we want to engage on them and talk one-on-one so that they give us what they think should be the best, so that we agree with them. In addition to the other things we're doing, for example, the CSR activities, what can they bring on board? So within our evaluation as the National Governing Council, then we'll decide that for the next 1 or 2 years, we'll want to move to the following county because this county appreciates the use of sports for purpose of either developing the people or sensitizing them or engaging with the people. Yeah. So we are going to have a one-on-one engagement with the counties so that they come and bid and say, moving forward, I want to come. I want you guys to come and stage the games in my county. And you can see the number of people coming. If any governor who is very serious in terms of transforming the county, this is some of the investment opportunities that then they can identify to come to us. Yes.
I'm trying to imagine that you are holding Kecoso Games as the countdown for the repeat presidential election is, going on.
Yes.
And sometimes, some of these events from a communication perspective, because we are communicators, we do them from a strategic perspective. Do you think you have faced challenges, for example, in trying to organize for this year's event?
Actually, challenges have been many. Originally, all our years we hold Kecoso Games in the month of August. The month of August has been very ideal for us because schools are closed, and we talk about talent. That's the best time to actually display talent, attract talent, and showcase what we're able to do in sports. Because the elections were scheduled for August, we tried to toy with the idea of holding our Kecoso Games in July this year. But at some point we realized it was not going to work because, as the chairman mentioned earlier, Kecoso has 12 member organizations. And most of all these organizations are government organizations. And we even have 2 organizations which are just ministry organizations. That's the Ministry of, actually 3 organizations. Ministry of Information, Ministry of Transport and Ministry of Sports. They just come as a delegation from these three ministries. They were going to have it very difficult to participate in Kecoso in terms of budgetary allocations. I remember the government cycle, financial cycle, approvals go with the budgets, which is done in the month of July. This year, it was done a bit early because of the elections. Yes. So we realized that most of these government organizations were not going to have money to spend to buy the necessary equipment, facilities they need for Kecoso if you're going to hold it in July. That's why we moved the games to September. Golf, again, is done at least 2 or 3 weeks before these government organizations were not going to have money to spend to buy the necessary equipment, facilities they need for Kecoso if you're going to hold it in July. That's why we moved the games to September. Golf, again, is done at least 2 or 3 weeks before the main games. We had originally scheduled to hold our golf tournament on 2nd of September. Remember, the Supreme Court ruling was on 1st. So again, we were forced to move that by 1 week. That's informed the decision to hold it last weekend, which was on 9th of September. So challenges have been there, and I must tell you that that has also affected sponsorship, because Kecoso, other than just relying on subscriptions from our member organizations, we also do attract sponsorship from organizations that are happy with what we do, and they're convinced that what we do is the right thing, and they're always glad to support us. Getting sponsorship this year has been a bit of a challenge because of number one, the dates have kept on changing. A sponsor wants a definite date. Yes. And that's a benefit that we've not had this year because of the changing dates, because of elections and what have you. So I must say challenges have been there because of what is going on in the country. But being a responsible organization, we've also tried to move with the times. But say one of the theme that we've adapted for this year's Kecoso Games is promoting sports through promoting peace through sports, because that's our theme. So it's running with what is up in the country, because we've looked around and said that what we need most in this country now is peace. And what other way? Which better way to promote the peace than through sports? Because sports is a friendship thing. It brings all the people together. We don't care in which religion, which tribe, which political where we come from. And it has worked for us very well. I think the chairman can expound further.
I think the theme for this is the most ideal, considering this is an election year, promoting peace through sports. And I think it's very apt and very appropriate for going to Kisumu, for example, that we want just not to go and showcase our sports and our people there, but we also want to go and preach to the people of Kisumu and the neighboring counties that we may have political differences, but we have a country to take care of. We can be peaceful through sports. In fact, if there's any one uniting factor for the whole of Kenya, is usual sports. You should see how Kenyans all celebrate when one of our own. We never identify them either to be from Kikuyu, Kalenjin, Luo. Whenever one of our own wins in any sports internationally, you feel very proud as a Kenyan. So I think this is the most ideal time for us to promote peace through sports.
And I want to talk about promoting peace through sports, because earlier on you did talk about peer educators. You'll be taking time off to, tell people what does this particular organization do, what does this one do. Do you have a deliberate, for example, program off the pitch that you'll be, reaching out to the communities?
Yeah, yes, I must tell you that the Department of Film works very closely with us. In fact, before we had the golf tournament, we had a documentary which was shot in Nakuru last year being released. And this documentary is all about how to work together with communities to improve them in terms of health, positive living, and that kind of thing. So again, as we go to Kisumu, the Department of Film will be with us. They have, I don't want to call it an OB van, because I talk OB, you think of KBC, but they have an outside broadcast van that they use. Together with our peer educators, they go out to the communities, to the colleges, as the chairman said. They go out to the slums up there with their Land Rovers, with speakers up there, and they normally have very good sessions with the members of public in terms of positive living, alcoholism, HIV/AIDS, and all of other issues. And again, you see, our member organizations, we talk about 1,000 athletes, sportsmen, and women who convert together. There's an outreach that deliberately also goes out to reach our sportsmen. When they're off the field in the evening, they're relaxing. There's a group that goes just out to talk to them, what they should do, what they shouldn't do, just having a conversation with them. And it has worked for us very well. over the years.
I think in addition, I wanted to mention something else, that you remember I have said that going forward from next year, we want to engage with the county governments directly in terms of staging these games. One of the issues we now want to identify very critically is how we can team up for the period we'll be in a county, for example, to have additional facilities that a county government can provide, which we can also supplement. For example, if we have a medical camp for the entire 10 days that we're in a county, we get sponsors, the county teams up with us, we get free medical camp for doctors and all. So for the period when people are coming to watch games, they can be able to get free medical attention. That will really help. It will also help the county reach out to its people in terms of explaining to them what programs they're launching. And whenever we go to any area, for example, at the moment, when you're in Kisumu, we already are innovating Moi Stadium in Kisumu. This is going to benefit the people of Kisumu. So whenever we go to anywhere, any county, we carry out certain activities that we leave as a mark. And he will mention to you that you go to some counties, for example, you will see a painting that was done in the 70s or in the 60s or in the 90s by Kecoso. And it maybe has never been done again by the county government. But when we team up with the county government, we can pool our resources and ensure that this is done for the benefit of the people. Yeah.
Well said there, and I want to believe from this kind of talk, you never know, I may just be heading to Kisumu as an advisor of Kecoso.
For the KBC team.
I'll be for the KBC team.
Yes, you
so
welcome.
whenever you are KBC team, I expect that words of wisdom from me as we go to Kisumu. But perhaps as we bring this to an end, because I'm told our time is almost up. Omole, your closing remarks of what you should expect as we head to Kisumu?
What we want to encourage people in Kisumu, the residents of Kisumu, is that, as we mentioned earlier, our games are free of charge. Please come and watch. It's free of charge. Come and watch top-class football. The kind of football you only watch on TV. And the benefit here is that this sort of match you're coming to pay and then watch one match. You come to that stadium in the morning, you'll watch matches going on until evening. Yeah, top-class football.
Top-class football.
Yeah, same with athletics. The big names, the kind of athletics you have to travel to Nyayo Stadium to watch when you have having national trials is coming to you in Kisumu. You want to watch top-class basketball, go to Kenyatta Sports Ground. You want to watch top-class netball, top-class volleyball, go to Kenyatta Sports Ground. You'll watch it all. So it's a 1 week of high-octane sports, courtesy of Kecoso Games. Please come and watch. It's free of charge. And we are not discriminating on anybody. We just want you to come and sit with us and enjoy the games. So please, members of the public, it's free of charge. Come and join us.
Come and join us. And Cyril?
Thank you. I want to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank the principal secretaries and the cabinet secretaries of the Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Transport, Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development, the Ministry of ICT, and the Ministry of Sports for facilitating this. Then I also want to thank the board and the management of the 9 organizations that are involved. That is Kenya Ports Authority, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, KBC, Postal Corporation of Kenya, Kenya Airports Authority, Communication Authority of Kenya, Kenya Ferry Services, Kenya Maritime Authority, and Kenya Film Classification Board, and also my own organization, Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, for facilitating these games. And secondly, I also want to mention to the county government of Kisumu, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to come and team up with you. And I also want to challenge the other county governments going forward next year and the other years, that let's work together to make these games a success. It's not just about games. It's also about the benefit that the people get, the kind of investment that people bring in, and so that we move forward. And finally, let's all converge in Kisumu for purposes of these games so that we can preach peace through sports. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for getting to be with us this particular morning. That is Omole Asiko, the General Secretary, Kecoso Games, and Cyril Wayongo, the Chairperson. We want to wish you well as you promote peace, but through sports. Free of charge is what they say. What you only need to do is avail yourself in Kisumu beginning this weekend. Teams begin, by the way, converging this Friday.
Yes.
And the games officially begin from Saturday, and we'll be watching closely. And as I said, I'll be there as an advisor. So if you have any issues, ensure that you see me. My name is Martin Mwanja on behalf of the entire production and technical crew. Thank you for joining us for this particular program. Let's do this again tomorrow. And God bless. Do enjoy the rest of the programming. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you.